Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm a scientist from Hologic.
Hi, Anna.
Yeah, hi.
How are you guys doing today? Finding anything interesting at the Science Festival so far?
Not really. It's all kind of boring.
You're not supposed to say that.
But it is. I don't know what any of this stuff means.
You do too.
Do not.
What do scientists even do?
I work on diagnostic assays. Do you know what a diagnostic assay is?
Nope, I've never heard of it.
Me neither.
A diagnostic assay is a tool doctors can use to tell why you're sick. X-rays are a diagnostic tool for bones, but how do you tell why somebody has a fever or a cough? Here at Hologic, we build tests to see if germs like bacteria and viruses are living inside or on your body.
How do you tell if we have germs? Do you use a microscope?
Some kind of scanner?
No, we check their nucleic acids. Have you ever heard of nucleic acids, genes, or DNA?
Didn't Phineas and Ferb use that once?
DNA? That's stuff they swap off a crime scene, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. If you want to know how we detect your germs, you'll have to understand DNA a little bit better, though. Once you understand what DNA is and how it works, it will all start making sense.
Really?
Yeah, really. Come over here with me and I'll show you. DNA is a type of nucleic acid. It is a long, thin molecule made up of something called nucleotides, kind of like two strings holding building blocks. There are 4 different types of building blocks: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. They are usually represented by their first letter, like A in yellow, T in red, G in blue, and C in green, as shown over here. It can be very, very long.
Oh, kind of like Legos?
How long can it be?
If you stretch the DNA from just one of your cells all the way out, it would be about 6 feet long. But it's usually coiled up very tightly and very tiny inside your cells. 6 feet is about the length of a cow if they are standing on their 4 legs.
Moo!
Wow.
Like
Like
this?
One cool thing about DNA is it can be easily copied. The nucleotides A like to stick to T's, and G's like to stick to C's. As you can see here, the red paired up with yellow, and the blue is paired up with green. So if you know the sequence of one string of DNA, you know the sequence of the other one. There's one example. Do you guys know what the sequence is?
C T C C
C-T-C-C-T-A-G-A-G.
Perfect, that's correct.
So how do you actually copy it?
To make a copy, stick a partial copy to a single-stranded piece of DNA. Then a polymerase enzyme will pull the building blocks out of the cell or test tube and add them to the strand. The partial copy is called a primer, and the polymerase enzyme is like a copying machine for nucleic acid.
Where do we get the primers from?
Yeah, how do we make those?
We make them in the lab. If you have 2 primers, one for each strand, you can make a lot of copies because you can make copies of the copies of the copies.
Sure, but why? Why would we want to do that?
Well, if you make enough copies, you can detect it.
But you say everything has DNA. What good does detecting it do if everything has it?
Yeah, you can't diagnose anything from that. Not if all the germs have it.
Good point. To actually diagnose the germs, you need to be able to tell that the DNA belongs to that specific germ and not to some other one. Any ideas on how we'd know that?
Nope.
Nope. So impossible.
Not impossible at all. It's what I do every day. But you're going to have to know a little bit more about DNA for this to make sense. Every time a copy is made, there's a small chance the polymerase will mess up. It might use the wrong building block and make a copy that is just a little bit wrong.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's bad. Of course it's bad.
Well, not necessarily. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's not. The mistakes are called mutations, and when they're not that bad, they can be inherited from your parents and their parents and their parents. This makes everyone just a little bit different from each other.
I knew that.
Do you know what a gene is?
Like pants?
No, the other kind of gene.
What other kind of genes?
This type of gene is inside of you. It's a piece of DNA you inherited from your parents, and each gene can contribute to certain functions. For example, for flowers, a gene is responsible for its colors. So for a red flower, there's a gene contributing the red color. And for white flowers, a gene makes the white color. Since your DNA is instructions for how to build you, you have genes for things like your eye color and your hair color, for example.
I see. So that's why my mom is a frog and I'm a frog.
That explains why you're so ugly.
I'm not.
You both probably look a little bit like your parents. But do you know we actually share a lot of similarity of DNA sequences? In other words, we have a lot of genes doing the same functions. For example, chimpanzees and humans both have many things in common. They all have eyes and ears. They breathe, walk, and sleep. But scientists have found out that chimpanzees share about 96% of sequences as humans.
No way.
Wow, but they look so different.
You're right. Even though we look so different, we do share a lot in common. It is the very small percentage of DNA sequences that makes us all different and very unique. So, you two look different than each other, but can share a lot of DNA sequences.
What does this have to do with anything?
To build diagnostic assays, scientists like me take advantage of the differences to find specific germs.
How?
Remember the primers? We build little bits of DNA that are unique to the thing we want to detect, and use these to make billions of copies. Once there are a lot of copies, we can detect them by letting them stick to something that glows when the specific DNA is present.
Wow, cool. Is that how a doctor tell if a patient had COVID-19 virus?
That is correct. Many patients have similar symptoms. They cough and have fevers, so it is very difficult for doctors to tell if the patients are having the flu or COVID. Because of scientists like me, doctors can order a COVID test to see if the patient has the specific virus.
You build medical tests?
I designed them, and to do that, I needed to know about nucleic acids like DNA. Science is about figuring out how things work and using that information to do things that matter. Wouldn't you like to do that too?
Yeah, I wish I was a scientist.
No, I still want to be a Jedi, or maybe a fighter pilot.
No way, you can't be a Jedi.
Can do.
Jedi aren't real.
Stop saying that, or I'll use the Force on you.
You can't.